Jake stood in the opulent study of his family's mansion, the room exuding the cold, calculated power that had defined his parents for decades. His father sat behind an imposing mahogany desk, his expression unreadable, but his eyes sharp. His mother perched on the edge of a leather armchair, her gaze icy as she observed Jake with faint disapproval. "You've made quite a mess of things," his father began, his voice calm but laced with menace. "Cutting ties with Lily? What were you thinking?" Jake's jaw tightened, but he didn't hesitate. "I'm done letting you control my life. Lily's gone, and she's staying gone." His mother's lips thinned into a displeased line. "Jake, you've always had a tendency to be impulsive. We guided you for a reason. Everything we've done was to secure your future." Jake took a step forward, his green eyes blazing with defiance. "No, everything you've done was to control me, but that ends now." His father leaned back in his chair, steepling his fingers. "And what exactly do you plan to do, Jake? Throw away everything we've built for some insignificant woman?" Jake's fists clenched at his sides. "That insignificant woman is the mother of my son, and she's worth more than anything you've ever built." For the first time, his father's composure cracked, his eyes narrowing in anger. "You've lost your mind. Do you have any idea what you're risking by pursuing this foolish sentiment?" "I know exactly what I'm risking," Jake said firmly, "but it's nothing compared to what I've already lost because of you." The room fell silent, the weight of Jake's words hanging heavily in the air. His mother finally spoke, her voice clipped. "So what now? Do you intend to walk away from the family, from the company?" Jake exhaled sharply, his voice steady. "I'll stay with the company, for Leo's sake, but I'll do it on my terms. No more arranged marriages, no more backdoor deals, and no more threats to Karina." His father's knuckles whitened as he gripped the edge of the desk. "You're making a grave mistake." "No," Jake replied, his voice unwavering. "I'm finally doing the right thing." Without another word, Jake turned and walked out of the study, his shoulders squared with determination. Back in his own office late that day, Jake began quietly working to support Karina's business. He had his assistant allocate resources to her projects anonymously, ensuring her company could expand without interference. Every step felt like a small piece of redemption, a way to rebuild what he had destroyed. One evening, as Jake sat in his office reviewing a report on Karina's latest successes, a faint smile tugged at his lip. He knew it would take more than financial support to earn her forgiveness, but it was a start. And Jake had no intention of giving up until he made things right. The Eldridge estate stood as a beacon of everything Jake had once feared and envied. Karina's world, one he had forced her back into through his own weakness. Now, he stood at its gates, his heart pounding with a mix of anxiety and hope. Taking a deep breath, Jake stepped through the entrance. The sprawling gardens were alive with the sound of birdsong and the rustling of leaves in the breeze. He spotted Karina sitting on a stone bench under a large oak tree, her son playing in the grass nearby. As he approached, Leo noticed him first. The boy paused, tilting his head curiously before running toward his mother. "Mummy, there's someone here," he called, his voice high and cheerful. Karina looked up, her serene expression tightening as she recognized Jake. She stood slowly, her hand resting lightly on Leo's shoulder. "What are you doing here, Jake?" she asked, her tone guarded. Jake stopped a respectful distance away, his posture calm but his eyes pleading. "I came to apologize," he said softly, "for everything, and to meet my son." Karina's breath caught at his words, but she quickly regained her composure. "Leo, sweetheart, why don't you go play for a little while? I need to talk to Mr. Harrington." Leo hesitated, glancing between his mother and Jake before nodding and running back to his toys. Jake watched him for a moment, his heart clenching at the sight. He looked back at Karina. "He's incredible," he said, his voice thick with emotion, "just like his mother." Karina crossed her arms, her expression unreadable. "You have a lot of nerve showing up here after all this time." "I know," Jake admitted, "and I don't expect you to forgive me right away, but I need you to know how sorry I am for not fighting for you, for walking away when you needed me the most." He paused, his voice breaking slightly. "For missing the first 3 years of my son's life." Karina's eyes softened, but she didn't let her guard down. "Why now, Jake? Why come back?" Jake took a step closer, his tone earnest. Because I can't live another day knowing I abandoned the two people who mean the most to me. I'm not here to make excuses. I'm here to take responsibility. I want to be part of Leo's life, and if you'll let me, I want to try to fix what I broke between us. Karina looked away, her gaze drifting to Leo, who was building a small tower with his toys. When she turned back to Jake, her eyes held a mix of sadness and hope. It's not that simple, Jake. You can't just waltz back in and expect everything to be okay. I don't expect that, Jake said quickly. I'm willing to work for it, for as long as it takes. The silence between them stretched, heavy with unspoken emotions. Finally, Karina sighed. Leo deserves to know his father, she said quietly. But this doesn't mean I'm ready to trust you again. That will take time. Jake nodded. Karina glanced at Leo again, a small smile tugging at her lips as she watched him play. We'll see, Jake, we'll see. Later that evening, Jake sat with Leo under the oak tree, the boy chattering happily as he showed Jake his favourite toys. Karina watched from a distance, her heart conflicted. For the first time in years, a faint spark of hope flickered within her. Perhaps, just perhaps, redemption wasn't impossible.